Hey everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you don't know me already, my name's Evangelina Rattray. I'm a 16-year-old author, and I'm sliding away. Anyway, that's all you need to know about me. But in today's video, I'm going to be showing you guys how I edit my novels. I'm currently editing my third novel, so I thought it would be a great time to show you guys what I do to be confident in my story and to really make sure that I have all the basics down before hopefully trying to publish. I'm not sure if this is going to work for you guys, but this is just what I do, and I think it's pretty efficient. Sometimes it takes a long time, but I usually feel somewhat comfortable in my story after going through this process. And this is a little different to what I've done with my other two, so I wanted to show you guys my new and improved editing process. So in total, there are about 6 to 8 drafts in this process. You can really split them up, do whatever you want to do, make them shorter, read through your novel more. I feel like this is kind of just like the grounds, so if you want to add more or if you want to take away some, like, it's fine. Some of this could be pushed into a few steps instead of 6 to 8, but yeah, this is open to interpretation. Hey guys, I'm editing right now, and I'm not sure if you can hear me over my Roomba, but I just wanted to say that this editing process is meant to lead up to the querying literary agent's traditionally publishing process. This is not ready for publication. With the traditionally published process, it'll take years, and it's the same with self-publishing. You're just doing it on your own. You're not having professional editors at publishers. So I just want to let you guys know that, because I don't want to have it come off as like, oh, when you're done with this, you're ready to publish your book, because honestly, you're not. First, I don't think it's a good idea to immediately stop writing your first draft. So stop writing your book. You finished it, you wrote end at the end of the story, and it's over. I don't think it's a good idea to immediately go and start editing, because your mind is still in the story. You still know everything that's going on, and you don't really have a new perspective. It's, you know everything. So even if your character doesn't know anything, you can't see that because you do. So it's good to take a break between writing and editing, whether that be a week, a month, a year, I don't know. Probably not a year, that's kind of a long time, but it would probably be the best option to wait as long as you can. I don't wait that long. I waited like 5 days, and then it's not as fresh, you know? So I wait a certain amount of time before starting to edit, and that's when I just do a general read through of the book. And the general read through consists of me not doing line edits, so I'm not looking for anything grammatically, not changing any sentences, not doing any of that. And I write down what's happening in every chapter. So if there's a new character introduced, if there is something important that someone shares, that, or something that you think might be important that's just like lingering, write that down. That's what you want to do, and you don't want to make any edits. And these little notes don't necessarily mean you have to go in and immediately edit them, unless you're thinking, oh, this thing happened in like chapter 20, but it was supposed to be introduced in chapter 1 and I didn't really do a good job of that. You can go back and edit that. That's what I would do in that draft. In the second draft, this is the second draft, is just reading through, making notes for every chapter, and editing kind of big picture things, something that needs to happen at the beginning in order for the end to be true, or something like, I don't know, character descriptions so that the reader understands what they're looking at, and like things that are surface level that you can understand easily, that your reader is going to want to know. That would be draft number 2. So we've had draft number 1 and 2 done. And then draft 3, I'm currently in draft 3. So what I do is, so for my book, just now, actually, I'll get it for you. If you guys saw my last video, you saw me using this, which is actually my book, and I was doing line editing. So I took, ooh, that's the wrong side, my manuscript. Do you see all the pencil marks, the pen marks? I literally take this pen and I scribble out anything I want to take out. I cross things out, replace them just for wording and stuff. It's not that grammatical at this point. Usually it's sentence based, like if I don't like how I word a sentence, I'll rewrite it. I'm not doing a lot of grammar because I think grammar is harder to pinpoint on a physical copy. So for draft 3, I do that. I do the edits physically, and then still in draft 3, I still consider it draft 3 because you're not really like doing anything new, you're just putting it into the online version. What I'll do is I have my computer here with my editing steps, and I'll type in all the stuff, all the edits I made in the physical version. And yeah, then once I've done that, I'm also considering this the same draft because I don't feel like it's fair to make a new draft just for this tiny step. But in draft 3, I also will go into the digital version, and I'll do Control F, so the find option, and I'll look into certain redundant words or like common words that are used a lot that aren't necessary at all, a lot of the time. So some examples of these, and I took quite a few of them from another YouTuber, Abbie. She did a video about, I think it was 10 redundant words in your novel that you should probably take out. So I took some of the ones that I liked the most, and then I added a few that I found a lot, especially in draft 3. While editing this draft, I'm like, oh, I do this a lot. Let me chill with that. So the first one I have is from her video, and that is just. The word just comes up so much in my manuscript because it's kind of a normal thing. You're like, oh, I was just doing this. Oh, I was just doing that. Oh, that just happened. You don't actually need the just. Like 99% of the time, the just does not matter. So Control F, take it out unless you really need it. So there's that. The next one is suddenly. Nothing really happens suddenly. Things lead up to it or whatever. So honestly, just take it out. It's fine without it. If you can picture the sentence and it works the same without the word, just take it out. The next one is definitely. If you're saying, oh, I definitely want to do that, you don't have to say I definitely want to do that. You can show that. You don't have to tell people, or maybe the reader already understands that they definitely are eager to do something. So you don't really need that in there. And then the next one is 2 words, really and very. Those are kind of interchangeable and they don't really work that much. After really and very, we have somehow. I have a hate relationship with this. Like, actually, I don't like somehow, and I write it so much. I'm like, somehow this happened. Well, obviously not somehow, because you're just writing about all the events leading up to it, so it happened in a way that's pretty obvious. You don't have to say, somehow I wasn't crying. You can just say, I wasn't crying, you know? Somewhat or slightly. You don't really have to explain that. Next is was or is. This just depends if you're writing in past or present tense. But if you say like he was walking, you can just say he walked or something like that. I feel like that just at times, not all the time, but sometimes it feels like you're just adding filler words to reach a certain word count or whatever with those. So, and then the last 2 I came up with myself. Actually, I might have come up with other ones. I don't even remember. The first one is I feel. There are some instances in my book where I feel works well, but there are other times where I'm like, I have been saying this a lot, like I actually need to stop because my character is not the type of person to continuously say I feel like, I feel like, I feel like. Sometimes you just say it like it is. The next thing is to some extent. I don't even know why I say this so much. I'll be reading through a draft and I'll just say, and I'm angry to some extent. Why does it matter to some extent? You can just say angry. Like, it just doesn't, it also like ruins the flow, you know? Like, it feels kind of weird because the reader can tell the extent of the emotion or the whatever. Okay, so that is draft 3. Draft 3 in sum is making line edits physically or digitally. You don't have to do it physically. And then you go in to make all the edits that you made in the physical draft. You put them in digitally. And then you do Control F and you look for those redundant words. Draft 4 is going to be working on show versus tell. So you're reading through it and looking for a specific thing, because show versus tell, even if you think you did it, sometimes it's really hard to do. Like saying, oh, just show versus tell. Don't tell people, just show them. Like, that's actually kind of a hard thing to do. So I like to look out for that in multiple drafts. In draft 3, I do look for that sometimes, like on the sentence-based stuff, but I want draft 4 to be dedicated to it, if that makes any sense. And then the other thing I would say for that one is to either remove things that you have pinpointed before or pinpoint new things that you would like to remove. So whether that's scenes, plot lines, personality traits, or whatever that aren't either fully developed or that you are unsure about. If you have a character that, say, wants to go to this college and they say this is their dream, but they only mention it one time, would you rather go in and incorporate that into your entire story, or would you rather just delete that little part? Those are the type of decisions you're going to be making in this draft. And so yeah, draft 4 is going to be reading through, doing show versus tell, and removing plot lines and stuff, or adding certain things to make it more well-rounded. Draft 5 is a big draft. I'd say it's one of the biggest ones, other than draft 1 and draft 2 probably. So draft 5 is feedback. Feedback is arguably the scariest part about writing a book, because you're getting an outside perspective for the first time. You're going to have new opinions on your book that you disagree with, that you don't think are what your goal was for this. Because if you're writing a horror and your reader's like, oh, I'm super scared, then that's good. But if you're writing a horror and your reader says, oh, I was more focused on the romance, like I didn't really feel the suspense, that's not what you want. But that is criticism you have to face in order for your book to be as good as it can be. So feedback, there's so many ways you can get feedback. You can do friends and family, which honestly I don't really recommend, because one, they're probably not the most qualified to do the beta reading unless they are in this industry or they read a lot or something like that, but most of the time probably not. But that is still an outside perspective, and if they are your target audience, then maybe that's good to get their feedback. But my favorite way is to get beta readers. I look for you guys online and I'm like, hey, who wants to beta read my book? If you want to, I'll send you a blurb and I'll send you questions to answer. And one, I feel like it's a really good way to connect with everybody, because if you don't know, on Instagram, shameless plug, go follow my Instagram. There are a lot of you over on there, and I feel like sometimes it's just me talking at you. This is like a collaborative part, and you guys get to see into my process, because let's be real, most of you aren't reading my books until I get one published. So I don't even know, but beta reading is so fun and nerve-wracking, and every time I open a document to see that my beta reader has finished my novel, I just like, my heart goes to my stomach and I get so scared, because I know that I have to face truths that I don't want to in this book, but I'm gonna have to. So that's what the editing is. And other ways you can do this, you can hire an editor. It usually costs money, sometimes it doesn't. It really depends on the experience, the professional aspects of this person. Usually that is very beneficial, but it also sometimes they're not your target audience, so maybe you don't want to only get feedback from them. Sometimes you want to get beta readers or something else. So in addition to that, this goes with everything though. Like if you have friends or family review your book, maybe you want a beta reader, maybe you want an editor to do the same, because yeah, it's more well-rounded that way. And then the last one is, I believe it's called pure editing, I don't actually know if it is. I don't know, but it's when you and another author exchange books and you both edit each other's books, or you beta read them, or whatever you want to do, but you swap it. So this can be really good because you're working with fellow authors, and because their perspective is more on a like plot diagram type situation, because like a day-to-day reader that doesn't write at all is just going to be looking for intrigue and like fun, or just surface level type of things like vibes or whatever, but another author is going to be looking for you hitting all of those plot points in order for it to be an objectively good story. So that can be super beneficial. And questions I like to ask my beta readers, because let's be real, you do need to ask your beta readers questions. You can't just be like throwing your manuscript off to them and expecting them to help you in every way you want. I can do a more in-depth video on this, but the types of questions you might want to ask them are like, if you were to draw a Save the Cat plot structure, what do you think every element would be from your perspective? Or you could be like, what were things you noticed about each of the characters? Things like that, like things that you can't see because you know everything about the book. Okay, I feel like I really did a bad job explaining this in the video, but the whole point of having beta reader feedback is because you know everything. You know how your story is supposed to play out and everything, but you don't know how that translates onto the page. So getting that feedback will reflect your writing ability and then show you what you need to change in the actual book rather than your outlining or your plotting and stuff like that. So that's why feedback is super important, because it just gives you a new perspective. So that's going to be draft number 5. And the last few drafts are going to be your final run-throughs. You could do grammar and line editing again. I personally think that's really boring, and to be honest, line editing, like grammar specifically, unless it's like spelling and stuff, if you have a bunch of spelling errors, that's probably not good, but you've probably edited those in draft 3 already, so it's fine usually. But if you want to do the extra step, I would split draft 6 into 2, into 6 and 7. The first and the second are interchangeable. It doesn't matter what order you do them in. Just make sure that the changes you made with your editor, with your beta reader, with whoever, make sure they flow, make sure they make the story better, make sure they work with the book, because sometimes when you edit them, it creates inconsistencies, so look out for that and make sure everything is good. And then if you want to do another one, make it grammar, or do another run through of the same process. Maybe you could repeat draft 1. Maybe we could have a draft 8 that is planned out, and that draft 8 could be you reading through it again, writing down for the chapters, or just reading through it without making any edits at all. So those are going to be your steps. I said 6 through 8 drafts because these can be divvied up however you want, or they can be smushed together, or whatever you want to do. So yeah, that's my editing process. As always, let me know any video suggestions you have down in the comments. Follow my Instagram like I said before, and yeah, stay tuned for new videos. I try to post once a month. I think I already posted this month though, so maybe you'll have 2 this month. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. So make sure you are on the lookout for new videos. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time.